All right, welcome back to May's Inspiration Moment. I'm so excited that you're here with me. And now we're going to talk about the featured article for the month of May. This month article is all about how to practice innovation. That's the first word we're going to talk about, innovation. The second word is adaptation, and then implementation. So those are the things that you're going to discover in this article on how med spas and spas can be successful applying these three business principles: innovations, adaptation, and implementation. And the best way to describe these three business principles are through an example of what some of our clients have been able to accomplish during this coronavirus. So do you want to know what it really takes to maintain business success even now? It takes those three things. So if you've been innovating and trying new things, and if you've been flexing and adapting and implementing, then you're on the right track. But if you have not, if you're one of those people that just accepted the fact that you're closed and there's nothing for you to do, well, that's a big mistake. Because I have to tell you, so many of our members hit the ground running and are implementing and still generating revenue even now. So it does make a big, big difference. So I decided to write this article because I really wanted to inspire you. I wanted to show you something that if another business can do this just like yours, then you can do the same thing. And I have to say, truly, the examples I'm going to use with you today are of real people just like you, just like you. So what they did is they followed the path that we've set forth, and they are reaching great results. So let me tell you how it all got started. So in mid-March, everybody started closing. They wanted you to stay at home. So Florida was one of the later ones that decided to stay at home, and that's, part of us because that's where I live. And as soon as I found out that that was going on, right away I shifted into innovative gear. I knew that our clients had some challenges to overcome, and they were going to look to us to come up with the answers on how to help them through this whole disruption, through managing this disruption, through actually coming up with a recovery plan for that disruption. So a little note first. I just want you to know that I'm not trying to take credit here for what I'm about to tell you with the story that I want to share with you. I want you to know that the team that actually implemented all these strategies are the heroes. They're the ones that did most of the work. The part that I did was coming up with the innovative program for them to take, customize, and then implement. But definitely, I was the guide. I was the business advisor, right? And they were the implementers, because it truly takes implementation. Remember, that's the third word that I shared with you. So implementation is key. If you don't implement, you're not going to get very far. So as soon as things, shut down and everybody was forced to close their doors, I'm like, okay, now what? Oh my gosh, these guys have to make money. So right away, I was thinking of ways to transfer their business to an online business, because we still had to make money. We had to survive. We had to generate new revenue, even though many of our members have memberships, so they have that nice reoccurring revenue. That's what we teach. We want the right reoccurring revenue to at least take you to your break-even point, and then the rest is gravy. So thank God that many of our members were in that boat. But still, you had to make money. You had to go online and create a whole new business model. And that's exactly what we did, because there were two challenges I really wanted to address. One is that they were disconnected from their clients. They can't come to them, so they can't make money, right? The second one is the need to generate revenue. So those were the two main concerns that I knew our clients had. And I had to come up with an answer for it. And I had to come up with it immediately because they were all like, okay, what do we do now, Dory? Right? They're all looking at me like, what do we do now? So right away, I went to work and I came up with a brand new system called the We Dare online consultation system. So I created this whole program. I first introduced it to the leaders. Then I took all their team members, invited them on a webinar, and we explained what we're trying to do to the entire team. Then I actually showed them and role played how to do an online consultation using the We Dare system that we came up with. So this process took a few days. And once we did it, I have to tell you, the members just absolutely loved the system. And right away, I taught them how to market it, how to get those reservations, how to make the consultations, how to do the marketing post-consultation. And before we knew it, they were all making sales online, doing one-on-one consultations and generating literally thousands and thousands of dollars doing work from home. So even though their business was closed, they were not closed for business, because they were still able to make the recommendations. They're still able to make a lot of sales. And I'm going to share with you some of these sales results. As a matter of fact, one of our, we call them Brewing Brilliance Mastermind Meetings, because the brilliance is brewing. Get it? So during one of our Brewing Brilliance meeting, Madeline from Canada, who's been selling like crazy, she does at least like $2,000 a day in retail sales. And she was complaining that she's paying too much for shipping fees. Now, everybody started laughing. It's like, you're complaining about shipping fees? You should be happy you have shipping fees. That should be a great problem everybody would want. So here they are, they hit the ground running, they're starting to make sales. They come to these meetings and everybody's telling me, well, I did a Facebook Live yesterday and sold $3,000. I did a consultation one-on-one and sold $4,000 worth of supplements. I did a consultation for my plastic surgery practice and I sold a facelift, about $20,000. I did a webinar and I sold $15,000 worth of Botox pre-sales. So it was like, oh my gosh, we were having a party. It was like everybody sharing their success stories and discussing all the things that they're doing and thanking me for, you know, doing my job, which they don't need to do because that's part of my responsibility. So those are the things that we did right away. So once they got their online consultation going, then we started doing webinars. So let me tell you, I have to highlight one group from the Mastermind group that has totally practiced the three things I just mentioned: innovation, adaptation, and implementation. Those are the three things that, again, are so important to your success. So that group is the Aestique group in Pennsylvania. They have 2 locations and they have a plastic surgery center. And it's owned by Dr. Lazaro and his wife Linda and daughter Brianna. Brianna runs the practice, the plastic surgery practice, and the Medspa, and Linda oversees them as well. So they would come to every single Brewing Brilliance mastermind meeting we have, and they would just suck all the information in, and they would go and start doing the work, customizing the online consultation that I gave them. They did the emails and we tweaked them to make sure that people are reserving the consultations, did the landing pages, did the email blast, did the videos. They did everything that it would take. All the steps that I shared in the We Dare system are things that they actually took and implemented. And the results were amazing. I get texts from Brianna saying, I just finished a webinar and we did almost $16,000 in sales. It's like, it's a half-hour webinar, and they did almost $16,000 in sales, following the process. So if you take a proven, effective system that you know works, then it's easy to just follow it, follow that blueprint, so you can get your money out of it. It makes really a big, big difference when you implement the strategies that we're talking about. So once we perfected the actual online consultations, then I wasn't gonna stop here. I'm like, okay, it's time to now move on to something bigger and greater. And that's when I taught them how to do webinars. Now, I've been doing webinars for probably about 20 years. And I have learned so much and made mistakes that I didn't want other people to make. So we came up with a new program called How to Plan, Create, and Host Webinars that will be successful for you. So I went to work on that program and then shared it with the Mastermind members and then all their team members on how to do webinars, how to do the invitation to get attendees on your webinar, how to do your topics, how to do the structure of the webinar, how to make an offer, how to do your call to action, deciding what is it that you want to promote before you even plan your entire webinar. So all these little intricate details that are very required to actually put on a webinar that's going to generate revenue for you. And I have to tell you, when I first introduced it, because I've been trying to get them to do these things for a while. And when I introduced the webinar idea to them this time, it was like, you know, light bulbs went off, because webinars have so many benefits, so many. Instead of taking one-on-one person trying to make one sale one-on-one, which by the way is fine, you should still have some of those, but you should also magnify your efforts to be able to reach hundreds of people all at once. And that's exactly what Aestique did. I remember this vividly. They sent me the invitation. They said, Dory, take a look, see what you need to tweak on it, and then send it back to us. We'd like to send it out tonight. I said, great. So I tweaked it a little bit, sent it back to them. They send out the email at like around 5 o'clock in the evening. The next morning, when they got on our 11 o'clock call in the morning, Brianna was telling me, oh my gosh, we have over 150 people that are registered for our webinar. I'm like, yes. So their webinar was about how to do at-home peels, right? They were spilling the secrets on how to do at-home peels. And again, these are all the catchy titles that we came up with to really help them come up with great themes for their webinars. So they did it, and they ended up selling a bunch of different peels with home care products. And if I remember correctly, they made like around $4,000 on their very first webinar. Very first webinar ever. So then when they started getting better and better at doing them, because they were doing them for the plastic surgery practice, they were doing them for the Medspa, and they were just doing one thing after another. And it's just amazing. Linda and Brianna and Madeline, my little superstars, were on a webinar with me for the webinar preview, which you're going to see in the bright idea of this issue. And here's what Linda had to say. She's like, Dory, they've been a member, by the way, a mastermind member for about 3 years, maybe 4 years. She's like, we did our numbers for last month, and we were still profitable. It's like, how can you be profitable now? I'll tell you how. By making innovative, by adapting innovative decisions, by adapting and by implementing. And that's how Aestique was able to reach the success that they have reached, because of what they were able to do. They took the information that we provided, and that's why I was telling you I'm only the guide. They took that information and they made it their own, and they implemented it accordingly. And that's how they were able to still be profitable even now. So can you say that? Can you say that you're profitable right now? And if you can, please send us your story. I would love to share it with people. But if you're not, now is the time to make changes, to innovate, to adapt, to implement, to make sure that you're on the right track to recovery. Because the last thing you want to do is just sit back and do nothing. If you sit back and do nothing, you're not going to make any money. Nothing is going to get better without action. So if you want to have the same results that Aestique and many of our other members have done, then you're on your way. You need to get your hands on these two new programs. And believe me, it was very difficult for me to make the decision to give them to everybody else, because these were things I created for the members to make a difference in their business now. And then I decided, I really need to help the industry as a whole. These are two great programs that are proven effective and that are generating thousands and thousands of dollars for our members. So the least I can do is make them available for the entire industry to put to work and benefit from. So that's really my contribution to everybody else. And I'm not the only business advisor that's telling people to go do online consultations, but you know what? I am the only one that came up with a system for it, and that's proven effective. And we have the proof where people in our group, Mastermind group, are literally making thousands and thousands of dollars doing these online consultations and generating thousands and thousands of dollars doing webinars. So we have perfected the process. We didn't just say to the team, oh, go do an online consultation. Like, where do I even start from? That's setting up your team for failure rather than success. You have to set them up for success. And by providing them with the tools, you are setting them up for success. And that's really what I wanted to do. So in this featured article, I just wanted to highlight the goodness that we are experiencing even now. I wanted to inspire you. I wanted to motivate you, because if the Aestique team, from Nadine, their PA, to their medical estheticians, to Brianna, Linda, Dr. Lazaro, everyone on the team just bought in and worked together to accomplish the things that they wanted to accomplish. So my hat is off to them, and off to all the Mastermind members who have been working so hard to make things be better for them, their team, and their family. But I have so many success stories to share with you. It really is crazy. And every time I would hear one of their stories, I'm like, yes, this is just so good. It's like music to my ears. Nothing makes me happier than to hear success stories. So I really would like you to be our next success stories. So go check out the Bright Idea to learn more about the We Dare system and the webinar, so you too can achieve this kind of success. So enjoy. It's my pleasure to help you and be of service to you. All right, so thank you for joining me for the featured article. Stay tuned for the Bright Idea.